One power, one power, one power, one power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, yet we see it everywhere in everything. There's one power indescribable, yet we speak of it in every word we say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Baha'u'llah, Hashem, or heaven's door. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your son. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth, or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. Oh, it's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power. It's one power, one power, one power.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Nina Clark, and I'm the Associate Minister here at Unity in Lynnwood, and I am so delighted to welcome you here this morning. New Thought teaches us that we have to be that which we want to live. That aligning ourselves with that which we want to experience more of allows us to bring it forth in our life. It is all already present, right where we are, because God, the ground of all being, is all there is, and thus always present, right where we are. And thus all that God is always present, right where we are. Which means that love is always present. Peace is always present. Abundance in its many, many forms is always present. Creativity is always present. Joy is always present. We just need to align or harmonize ourselves with that which we want to experience more of, because we are that which we are one with in consciousness. So will you close your eyes with me and take a deep breath? And another deep, slow breath. And allow yourself to arrive right here in this moment. And remember with me that we live and move and have our being in the ground of all being. Allow yourself to become still and simply be aware of being. Bring yourself fully to this moment with every last thread of your attention, with every last thread of your thought, and simply be aware of being love. You are already love, for the nature of this one life, which we call God, is love. You are already love simply by virtue of being inseparable from the one life that is. God is part and parcel of your being, closer than your own breath, as close as you. Bring yourself fully to this moment. with every last thread of your attention, with every last thread of your thought, and simply be aware of being wisdom. You are already wisdom, for the nature of this one life which we call God is wisdom. You are already wisdom simply by virtue of being inseparable from the one life that is. God is part and parcel of your being, closer than your own breath, as close as you. Bring yourself fully to this moment with every last thread of your attention, with every last thread of your thought, and simply be aware of being wholeness. You are already whole, for the nature of this one life that we call God is wholeness. You are already whole simply by virtue of being inseparable from the one life that is. God is part and parcel of your being, closer than your own breath, as close as you. Allow yourself to settle into this expanded knowing of the truth of who you are. Allow yourself to be comfortable with this higher state of consciousness. Give yourself permission for this to be your new normal. Allow gratitude to find a home in your heart and give wings to the joy that is already there. And we let it be so, and so it is.
It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunlight on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon, for it's love that's most deep. It's one power. It's one power. It's the power of the love that lives in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, one power, one power. It's one power, one power, one power. There is a garden where dreams come true, a beautiful garden where God's grace blooms. There is a garden where everything grows, a beautiful garden where love is sown. And in this place of light and love, you can have anything that you're dreaming of. There is a garden where dreams come true, beautiful garden, that garden is you. beautiful garden, that garden is you. A beautiful garden, that garden is you.
I feel like I've been to church. Thank you, Matthew Wilson. Thank you, Jonesy. Thank you, Scotty. Thank you to the amazing and incomparable Unity in Lynnwood crew. What a gift, what a joy, what a pleasure, what an honor to walk, to create, to serve with each of you, and to bask yet again in the nobility of your company. Welcome to this evolving, unfolding idea we call Unity in Lynnwood. My name is Dr. Richard Loren Held. It is my honor to serve as the spiritual director here. For those of you who have youth, please note that youth and family ministries gatherings are launching at this very moment. If you would like credentials for next week's gathering, contact that program's director. Her name is Stacy Bailey. We invite you to avail yourself to the vehicles of support which we have fashioned on your behalf. Of course, visit unityinlynnwood.org, where you can meet your leaders in deeper ways, read recent blogs, even download brochures and enlist prayer support. Engage with Unity in Lynnwood on the social media platforms of your choice. We invite you to download the Breeze app. Your social media hosts will drop a link into your chat window. This enables text reminders, notifications, and so much more. And as always, if you would like to stay in touch through a couple email messages a month, and no, we would never share or sell your information, and enroll by visiting unityinlynnwood.org and clicking on the button at the bottom of the home page. It's also a great way simply to confirm that we have your current information. Always, if you would like assistance with any or all of the above, click or call, write or ring. It will be our selfish pleasure to get to connect with you. Practical spirituality, welcoming community, short words, big ideas. So it is that every week I like to support this mission statement with one of the values statements, one of the bullet points which we developed in collaboration with your board of trustees beginning in late 2014. Today, I share the fourth of 6. Take a deep breath. Does this belong to you? It reads as follows: we believe each person is an individualized expression of divinity itself, and we accept each person as such without condition, question, or exception. As a matter of principle, then, it can be said that we at Unity in Lynnwood love boldly. Today's prayer chaplain is Marge Hampton. If you would like to pray with someone today, start the process by writing prayer at unityinlynnwood.org. Expect a call from an anonymous number. Do remember to include your telephone number. Daily Word, if you are newer to Unity, we would love to share with you a gift of this inspirational booklet. Just click or call, write or ring administration at unityinlynnwood.org. Include a mailing address and await your gift. And finally, social hour following each  service. If you would like to simply connect with others. You are welcome to use the link already provided or to visit the calendar page at unityinlynnwood.org and to register, at which point you will be provided a link. Today's host is volunteer coordinator Michelle Van Eyck. Words of invocation. Take a deep breath. You are welcome to allow my voice to serve as yours or to read along if you so choose. The words will appear on your screen and they read as follows. Though imaged and named variously, there is a singular and eternal ground of being from which all life emanates and into which all life retreats. We choose to call this ground of being God. By extension, we come to understand that we are spiritual in nature, human in expression, and limitless in potential. We gather today to remember such truths, to celebrate our unity, and to honor all life. What a pleasure it is to be with you this morning. Oh, you are in for a grand treat. Ordained in 1976, Reverend Howard Caesar's first ministry was in Olympia, Washington. He was our neighbor, where he led that community through 3 expansions and was heard on 2 different radio stations daily. He served Unity in Houston for another 34 years, leading that 3,000-member community and the additional thousands who watched his weekly television broadcast, The Awakened Life, with what has been termed his positive, practical, and progressive approach to Christianity and to spiritual principle. He launched his newest form of spiritual service in 2017, and we are among the so fortunate recipients of his new beginning. His accomplishments and accolades are as notable as they are numerous, including a current Amazon #1 bestseller. It's entitled 1 + 1 is 1. I think he will fit in just fine at Unity in Lynnwood. Even now, will you open the mind and the heart to an inspired voice, extending the energies and the intentions of welcome to our friend. His name is Reverend Howard Caesar.
Wow, thank you, Dr. Richard Help. What a delight to be with you on Zoom and to feel the energies of your work. And I thank you for the invitation. I'm honored and thrilled to be able to be here and share with your people and what you have drawn so wonderfully in consciousness. And so as I begin today, I'd like to just say, I guess it's safe to assume that all of you who are listening would be comfortable and willing and open and receptive to taking a leap with your life in terms of greater energy, greater satisfaction, greater fulfillment, greater sense of purpose. I certainly would, and I hope you'll want to join me in that. And now that process really begins with knowing what is important to having that kind of an experience and where it starts and where it begins. And actually the term that is very important that I'm going to address was actually shared a couple of times in the beautiful opening prayer of today's service. And so what is really important, and that process begins with, is attention. Attention. It's a basic truth that wherever you put your attention, you direct energy. And where our attention goes is really where our thinking is. What we're thinking about has to do with what we're focused on and what has our attention. And so it's a major factor in creating our reality, of course, and attracting what we draw into our lives. You've heard probably the statement, what gets your attention gets you. Where energy goes, where your attention goes, energy flows. Just certain statements to help us remember that this is so true. So often we're not conscious really of where we are placing our attention. That's part of our spiritual growth, is to have and develop that awareness. Also, intention plays a role. Intention. In other words, it is to consciously have the intention to direct your attention where you want it to go, that will bring forth the greatest joy, the greatest fulfillment, and the greatest growth. So intention and attention are really combined as very important in that process. And so the question is then, what is it? What is it that you are, having to give your attention? What intention is it that you are to have to give your attention to? And actually the answer to that is somewhat in my title today. My title is What We All Need Most. And your answer to that might be the same as mine. Maybe it varies, but basically I believe what we all need most is love. Love. Powerful love. Love is what brings us all together, bonds and binds us together. Now, it's not about getting love, it's about giving love. And as has been affirmed in your service already, it's about being. It's about being that which we are called to be. God is love, and we're made in the image and after the likeness of love. And therefore, our role here in this life is to learn to be what we are, to be that. So often we're pulled into our head in concepts, and what we're supposed to be connected more and more to is our heart. That becomes an intention to direct our attention to a felt awareness that transcends the work of the mind that sometimes blocks the flow that is love wanting to be expressed. And so a person's life, I believe, is really measured by the love that they have opened their heart to. Love is universal. You can go to any land, any country, any society, any culture, any language, every soul on the planet, at their core, the most important thing for them to learn and to experience for fullness and satisfaction and joy in life has to do with love. Joy is brought on by love. And so it's like the song, love in any language, straight from the heart, pulls us all together, never apart. Now, I don't know about you, I kind of like to be at airports. I don't like to get caught there, but when I'm there, I like to be attentive to people being dropped off and people arriving. That there's a dynamic that is taking place between people. There's hugs and kisses and smiles and embraces as they're letting loved ones go that have perhaps been visiting or whatever. And then at arrival, usually down in baggage claim is where it happens these days. People are waiting there and where they get the luggage, and there are all these gatherings of coming together and hugs, and love is flowing. I love that. I love watch that taking place among so many people. I'll never forget an incident that I had some years ago. It was when my wife, Diane, and I were visiting our oldest daughter, Dawn, and her family, who actually live up there in the Seattle area in Issaquah. But we flew into SeaTac Airport, and our then grandson, Brady, was 3 years old. And so we came down into baggage claim. And as we were looking for where our luggage was going to be, we saw him and his family quite a ways off. And Brady saw us, and he started from a long ways off yelling, "Papa, Papa, Papa," and running to me. And so at that point, I just kind of stooped down to catch his embrace once he arrived. He arrived with such force that he knocked me over onto my back, my feet up in the air, my grandson and myself embracing. And it was just a very memorable experience to receive that love in that way. And there were all the people around that witnessed this, that their hearts opened, and there was just kind of a dynamic that took place. But the beauty of that is that grandson, Brady, he had the intention before we got there to give his attention totally on expressing a robust, loving welcome to his granddad and grandma, Papa and Nana. And it was just a very special memory. It's a beautiful thing. But the tendency is for us to look outside of ourselves for that which actually begins within. You know, love is what we are. Love is our purpose for being. And it's just being able to recognize that. So many times a person's focus is on looking to get love. And actually, to some extent, looking to get love and in a fairly strong, needy way, pushes love away from us because it's firming what we don't have. Because we want to have what we don't have, and the focus is there. Whereas if we focus on giving love, of course, the principle is as you give, so you receive, and more loves come flowing in, and there is joy that is received in giving love as well. And so it's a powerful dynamic. When you make love your identity, it becomes more unconditional, it becomes more full and rich, there's more flowing through you, and you are given more opportunities to actually express and be that love. It's important. You know, there's a wonderful story, I think, that displays this, and it's about a child's love for her dog. Her dog had passed on, and it was 14 years old, and its name was Abby. And the little girl, the 4-year-old, was named Meredith. And Meredith was very, very sad. She was very attached to her pet dog, Abby. And so even the next day, she was still crying about missing Abby. And so then she asked her mother if she could write a letter to God so that, God would know that Abby was going to be arriving, that her special pet dog, and that God would recognize Abby. And so she began to dictate this letter to her mother, who wrote it down and started taking the words. And I just want to share with you what this little girl, Meredith, wrote in her letter to God. Dear God, will you please take special care of our dog, Abby? She died yesterday and is in heaven. We miss her very much. We're happy you let us have her as our dog, even though she got sick. I hope you will play with her. She liked to play with the ball and to swim before she got sick. I'm sending pictures of her so that when you see her in heaven, you'll know she's our special dog. But I really do miss her. Love, Meredith. P.S. Mommy wrote this for me after I told her the words. So cute, so beautiful. Well, they put that letter into an envelope and addressed it to God in heaven, and then put their return address on the letter. And then Meredith made sure that they got plenty of stamps on the envelope because, as she said, it takes lots of stamps to get a letter all the way to heaven. And so they dropped it off at the post office in the post box. Well, after several days, almost a week, I guess, they had been out on an outing, and they returned back to their home, and they saw on the front porch there was this package, and it was wrapped in gold paper. And on it there was a white little tag that said, to Meredith. And so Meredith opened it, and inside what she found was a book by Mr. Rogers. You all remember Mr. Rogers, and it was titled When a Pet Dies. And on the inside cover of that book, there was one of the photos they had sent of Abby, and there was their letter that they had sent to God in heaven. And on the back inside cover was the other photograph or picture that they had sent of Abby, and a handwritten message on pink paper. It was from God. I mean, how many of us get a handwritten message from God? Well, Meredith did. And this is what it said. Dear Meredith, I know that you will be happy to know that Abby arrived safely and soundly in heaven. Having the pictures you sent to me was such a big help. I recognized Abby right away. You know, Meredith, she isn't sick anymore. Her spirit is here with me, just like she stays in your heart. Young, running, playing. Abby loved being your dog, you know. Since we don't need our bodies in heaven, I don't have any pockets, so I can't keep your beautiful letter. I'm sending it to you with the pictures so that you will have this book to keep and remember Abby. One of my angels is taking care of this for me. I hope the little book helps. Thank you for the beautiful letter. Thank your mother for sending it. What a beautiful mother you have. I picked her especially for you. I send my blessings every day, and remember that I love you very much. By the way, I am in heaven, and wherever I am, there is love. I love you, Meredith. God. P.S. My special angel wrote this for me after I told her the words. How cute, how wonderful, how special. You know, and 3 times you had the intention to give their attention to an expression of love. So beautiful. First, with a child's intention to give attention to the dog that it had known and loved. Secondly, this really person in the dead letter office of the post office or postal system that took it upon themselves to write such a beautiful letter representing God to this child. Beautiful. And then the mother, of course, that was so sensitive and open and receptive to helping and assisting her daughter in being able to get past this situation and experience and express the love. So, you know, it's actually the Greeks that divided love up into 3 different categories of love and different types or definitions or levels, however you wish to think of it. And you may have heard of it. There's eros, phileo, and agape. And eros in Greek was the kind of love that carried the idea of romance. You know, it was romantic and physical and sensual, and it had to do with attraction and infatuation and courtship, and it could, you know, it's the kind of love that can bring butterflies to one's stomach and all of that. And it can also be very complicated and confusing and difficult. I mean, I was there. I got the T-shirt in high school. Some of my relationships with girlfriends had, you know, it has to do with fears, inhibitions, insecurities, projections, crushes, and emotions and hormones flying around, all of this dynamic. In fact, in Greek, the name for one of the primordial gods for Eros is son of chaos. So that's Eros. And then there is, of course, Phileo, and Phileo is about meaning the expression of love and caring for family members, friends, group. It basically widens the circle a bit and is, again, a powerful love. There's a quality of love and caring and tenderness that takes place many times between family members and friends and these kinds of things. There's a heart-to-heart, spirit-to-spirit, a real connection that can take place, and amazing connections, even intuitive, and bonds. There was a story, it was actually an article that appeared in Woman's Day magazine some years back. That was a powerful story, true story. And it was about a mother who was named Karen, and she had a 3.5-year-old son named Michael. And Karen was pregnant with her second child and discovered that it was going to be a little girl. So in preparing Michael to have a sister, mommy had Michael singing to the little child in mommy's tummy all through the pregnancy. every day, every evening before he went to bed, sometimes during the day, he was always singing and singing to his sister that was coming. And finally the day arrived, and labor pains came. And so she was taken into delivery, and complications arose for Karen. And the baby sister was born, but the child was in very serious condition, and they had to rush the child, the infant, by ambulance to the neonatal intensive care unit in St. Mary's Hospital in Knoxville, Tennessee. And as the days went by, the baby, instead of getting better, got worse. And the pediatrician finally came to the point where he had to tell the parents that there was little hope, and to prepare them for the worst. Well, all this time, Michael is nagging because he wants to sing to his sister, but he can't get into intensive care. The rules are you can't go there. So Karen tries to sneak Michael in to intensive care. The head nurse was kind of upset and tried to stop him. And Karen said, no, he's not leaving this hospital till he gets to sing to his sister. And so they took him to the bedside, and there he gazed at this little infant that was losing the battle for life, his sister. And he began to sing in the pure-hearted voice of a loving brother. And Michael sang, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away." It was beautiful, so heartfelt. This little child, 3.5. Instantly, the baby girl seemed to respond. And it began, its pulse race calmed down. There was a steadiness came over the child that had been just kind of tossing and in pain seemingly. And the mother's eyes, Karen's, filled with tears the moment she saw that, the difference. And she simply said, "Keep on singing, Michael, keep on singing." And as Michael sang, his sister's breathing again smoothed some more. And she began to relax. And there was this healing restfulness that seemed to sweep over this infant. And now tears were running down the face of the bossy head nurse. Well, the very next day, that infant was able to be taken home. And Woman's Day magazine called it the miracle of a brother's song. The medical staff there said it was just a miracle. The mother, Karen, called it a miracle of God's love. And we don't have to understand it. Love is so powerful, and it can do so much good in this world. Yet what we do need to do is to be it and to love it. That's what we're called to do, you know. That's what we came here to earth to be about, to learn to be and do, is to love. It is our true nature. It links us and bonds us and unifies us with Source. It makes us one. 1 + 1 is 1. You and me plus love plus God, whatever. Anything you add, it's 1. It's always 1. So that's an example of brotherly love. Agape love, the third, was the highest form of love that the Greeks spoke of. And, eros was romantic love and was really targeted towards maybe one person that's special. And then phileo was the circle broadened, and now it was family and friends and maybe a group and a few more. Well, agape is a natural, spiritual, mature, universal love. It is all inclusive. It is unconditional. It is a higher kind of love. You know, it's a love of everyone and everything, love of God, of yourself, of others, of all life and all creation. It's a powerful kind of love. And, it's establishing love as your true identity. That's what it's about, because that's what we are. It's not necessarily who we are. Who we are has to do with all our outer human experiences, of all the stuff we have and maybe our achievements and this and that. But what we are is love, and we should need to focus on the what of us. There was a guy named Anwar Sadat. I read a book by him some years ago, and it just so impacted me because he originally he was the not originally, but years ago, he was president of Egypt before actually being assassinated, unfortunately. But prior to becoming president, he was involved in the struggle to liberate Egypt from British occupation. And in that conflict, he was thrown into prison for a number of years. And he, in that time of solitude, he experienced a shift, a spiritual awakening, where he moved from his small self into his larger self, his greater self. And the book is what he called the book. The title of it was In Search of Identity. And some of that book spoke to me so powerfully of really an element of eros. Agape love. And I'm just going to share with you a couple of excerpts that spoke to me, and listen with your attention and intention. And maybe it'll speak to you too. I hope so. Here's what he wrote. Inside of cell 54, as my material needs grew increasingly less, the ties which had bound me to the material world began to be severed, one after another. My soul was freed, and so took off like a bird soaring into infinity. Once released from the narrow confines of the small self with its mundane suffering and petty emotions, a man will have stepped into a new, undiscovered world which is vaster and richer. His soul would enjoy absolute freedom, uniting with existence in its entirety. Through this process of liberation, the human will develops into a love force, and all earthly forces, even those that might perturb a man's mind, come to contribute to the achievement of a perfect inner peace, and so provide a man, a person, with absolute happiness. Just a couple more quickies. My narrow self, he said, my narrow self ceased to exist, and only recognizable identity was left, the totality of existence. I came to experience friendship with God. He is love, limitless love. And finally, without love, he said, a man may grow very old indeed, and yet feel he has not lived at all. He would feel he has missed a very important thing, that however great his achievement, he has really achieved nothing. It was in cell 54 that I discovered that love is the key to everything. Wow. Love is the key to everything. Now, I've done a lot of studies on thousands of people that have been researched, that have had near-death experiences, that have encountered the light and the power of love that was emanating to them in return. And what they came back saying, in essence, was the same thing, that love is the key to everything. And that's what they learned, and the realization they had. For Anwar Sadat, there was nothing to distract him. He was able to give all of his attention with the intention to discovering his true identity. And he found it to be love, and he found it to be love through a friendship, a bonding, a oneness, an attunement with the source of love, God. And so it was a process of liberation, of directing, he said, the human will. And it develops then into a love force. So that's the process that we're all in, a process of liberation, you know, from the small self to the greater self. And it's by setting the intention to give more attention to the heart, to the heart. It is our spiritual compass, and we must trust it. Jesus stated in the Gospel of Thomas, and the Gospel of Thomas didn't make it into the Bible. It was not canonized, but there's some juicy, wonderful things that Jesus said found in the Gospel of Thomas. And here's one of them. Jesus said, if you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. The what he's talking about is basically your true identity, which is love. And when he says destroy, it basically is saying it destroys the happiness, the fulfillment, the joy, the peace of mind. It pushes it away and keeps it from you if you do not bring the what of you forward and into expression. Now, we all have unfinished business, I think, in different areas and sectors of our life. And some things, in relationships, past and present, for sure. We have pockets of resistance from hurts and wounds, perhaps preventing us from expressing the love that is full and rich. It's a process. We're all growing. But the melting away of the resistance of love is really done through the pure healing heat of the heart. And so in times when everything else around you seems disconnected, remember to keep it your intention, to give your attention to what is connected, that you are connected. You are always connected. Have an intention to always give your attention to the idea that you are connected. Find quiet moments to pray and to simply go to your heart and listen to the Spirit that is calling you back to love and oneness, and you will have the joy and fulfillment you are looking for. Love is the legacy that you came to leave. I came to leave. We all came to leave. It's what we all need most. Blessings to you, my friend, and thank you for the sincere opportunity to share with you today. I invite you now to just turn within for a moment or two in the way that you're most comfortable, and just take in this energy of life and love. So just relax and take a deep breath, quiet the mind, and go to your heart. And allow a wonderful, freeing feeling to sweep over you. A feeling of connection, connectedness to a presence that is always there, never leaves you. It is always surrounding and unfolding you. Its energy is vast and infinite. And of course, it is of love. It's a love that is throughout this universe. And just say within yourself, this love, this infinite love embraces me now, brings to me a sense of peace, wonderful harmony, overwhelming acceptance, freedom. It's unconditional. My mind becomes quiet and melts into my heart, into a heart intelligence that allows me to experience what I am. I'm fully in the moment, in the presence of the present. Intricately and intimately connected to the one source. Just affirm to yourself in this moment, I am in silent partnership with all the power, all the presence, all the love there is. I gain clarity now in my true nature, what I am. Love, life, goodness. And remember this, what is within me, what is to be freed, it is that brings me peace and joy. I go forward now to be the love I am created to be. And so it is, and so it is. Amen. Blessings to all of you. Thank you once again for giving me the opportunity. Thank you, Dr. Richard, and your ministry. And I bless it and the great work that you guys, you folks, your ministry and all your staff and volunteers are doing to make a difference in this world. Peace and blessings.
Thank you, Reverend Howard Caesar. Oh, glasses. This part of the service that we refer to as offertory is really a time for us to intentionally stand in the flow of substance. It is a time for intentional practice. So let us trust and have faith in our individual and collective good. Trust that it is all coming along fine. And let's just bless our tithes together in that consciousness. We are life in abundance, wisdom in abundance, power in abundance, love in abundance. Indeed, all that God is, we are in abundance, richly endowed simply by virtue of our inability to be separate. We only need to know it and know it powerfully and accept it with our whole selves. And so in this time of virtual community, let us join our hearts and minds together and bless our individual offerings, knowing that we are one. And then, while Matthew unfolds us with his beautiful voice, you'll have time to access the text to give and the other donation options that will appear in your social media chat box window. And so now, if you would, go ahead and take your offering and hold it in your hand, whether it's a paper check or money or just the intention of the amount that you plan on donating today. Go ahead and hold that in your hand, knowing that all are simply symbols of substance, of abundance. And know with me, know with your community that through the sharing of your abundance of love, of wisdom, of life, of love, of plenty itself, that you are, and thus we are, a blessing in this world. And so it is. Amen.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen.
Thank you, Reverend Howard Caesar. What a gift. What a gift. Thank you, Reverend Nina Clark. Thank you, Cameron. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Nadine. Thank you, Amelia. We bring the fullness of our offerings to you in one of two ways: live stream or through advance reservation. In the case of advance reservation, you can access this simply by visiting the calendar page at unityinlynnwood.org and registering for the event of your choice. Holy Week 2021, it has occurred to me that to explore the tensions of Palm Sunday and the triumphs of Easter Sunday without consideration given to the dynamics that unfolded and are set forth in our story between the two, we are missing some good stuff. Please join me. Please join us, of course, on Palm Sunday, but also on Monday, also on Tuesday, also on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, as we explore themes of decision, themes of resistance, themes of support, themes of commitment, all themes that are set forth in that transformational tale. It's entitled Don't Be Afraid. The weekday services are about 30 minutes each, and you can find the details via our social media vehicles. Small groups, those groups which are currently meeting virtually are detailed on your screen. You may register yet again by visiting the calendar page at the website. You're always welcome to write small groups at unityinlynnwood.org for further details if you like. Wholeness. It is a class, one of 3 classes offered in 2021. This one will be taught by Reverend Nina Clark. In 2021, we are, of course, teaching prayer, wholeness, and prosperity. In keeping with our 2021 format, each class will enjoy a month of practice before the next class. Going deeper, going slower is how we're approaching adult ed in 2021. About that class, it's been written, simply stated, we assert the capacity of thought to impact the quality of our physical expression. And while such thinking has long endured among the spiritually minded among us, it's now shared and accepted by the scientifically minded among us as well. We assert that you can contribute to your physical health and vitality through spiritual practice. In the end, we seek the profound realization of our own individual and collective spiritual wholeness, trusting that realization to outpicture in right and perfect and often surprising ways. Always register by clicking on the event on the calendar page of our website. Interlude, Wednesdays, 7 o'clock p.m., streamed. Reverend Nina Clark. Can you ever get too much Reverend Nina Clark? It's been written about this service. Tune in for 30 minutes of a short lesson and a short meditation to recenter in the truth of what you are. Join us next Sunday. Dr. Joan Borisenko will deliver the message in this, our 40th year as spiritual community. You don't want to miss that one. Reclose the outer eyes if you feel so inclined. Those outer eyes that would imply a separation, those outer eyes that would hint of limitation, partiality, those outer eyes that speak to us of a level of reality which is merely but a transient experience of the highest self of us, that enduring love as us. So we close those outer eyes that we might open the inner eyes, the spiritual eyes, the heart eyes of us, if you will, to higher truths, truths of life, truths of sufficiency, truths of wisdom, ever present, ever awaiting simply greater welcome through its creation. And always, 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 we open the inner eyes of us that we might come into a spiritual seeingness of that harmony, of that love. Ever seeking to be expressed in this world of form. Said in the language of our more traditional brothers and sisters, we close the outer eyes that we might open the spiritual awareness of us to everything that we hold God to be. And we do not abandon this remembering, this acknowledging when we reopen those human eyes, but we carry it forth. We allow it to become the way through which we be in the world. And we close this time together, as we always do, with sung words of blessing, with sung words of farewell.
May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure